Hi there again, everybody. Welcome back to Prestige Auctions, and it's auction aftermath time. Sunday afternoon, it's a bit quieter in the auction room than it has been in the last couple of days, and I've got 10 minutes to sit down in my office, or maybe a little bit longer, and go through how yesterday's auction was and the viewing day as well. Now, we fully expected this week that it was going to be a very good auction, and that it was. There's no getting away from that. The room was extremely busy on viewing day. Lisa is convinced that we had a record number of commission bids. There's so much good stuff in the room that we always expected that, to be fair. And the room was busy. I don't think anybody got off the jewellery counter. Somebody was on the jewellery counter nearly every minute of the day through viewing on Friday. So lots of things that sold quite well we're going to come to quite soon. Thing was, picture the scene. Friday night, I've taken my computer home. I've got some work to do on the specialist sale. Tries to get on with that, gets on with that, has enough because I've had a long day. Puts the computer away, all things fine. And then to bring the computer to work on the Saturday morning and have what was an absolute nightmare. The computer just wouldn't work properly. I have no idea why. I still don't know. It's working properly now. Is that we switched the computer on, tried signing into our XSplit program. Nothing would load up. It was like it was doing updates and all sorts of things. So everything just went wrong, and it was working on that for well over an hour. Luckily, I had another computer that I'd already got set up with the XSplit program. So this is the reason we couldn't go out on Facebook on Saturday, because I'd not got that set up. So it really was a case of sort of make do amend, and then we had all the problems going through the sale. Facebook decided to not show us the album and so on. So apologies to everybody that did have trouble watching the auction on Saturday. It seemed such a shame. We was all so excited and looking forward to this sale, and then everything just seemed to go wrong at the last minute. However, it didn't stop it being an absolutely amazing day, and it was a truly fantastic day. So many people turned up, so many people enjoyed it. We had our friend Brian came up from Cornwall to see us, and we're going to be watching him on his new podcast and blogging and things that he's going to be doing. We'll talk about that on another day. We also had people coming from up north. We had people from Leeds in. It was a really good feeling in the auction room once again. It was kind of like that all day, though. Sometimes the auction room was full. Sometimes it was nearly empty. It was just people coming in at the right times to match their items. And anyway, there you go. Let's have a look at what made the money and what flopped in the auction on Saturday. It started off so well, as we knew it was going to. Now, these Tiffany effect lamps, didn't come to us until sort of 10 past 4 on Monday. One of the clearance people rang us up. He got space for a few bits. What are they? Yes, we have. We'll put them on the first 3 lots. And then there we go. Lots 1, 2 and 3. Now, the thing was, that lot number 1 there, I think that made, if I remember rightly, about 150 odd quid, 150, 160 pound, whatever it was. And then the other one was at about 100 as well. I can't really remember now, but they all did really good money. Thing was, people recognise them. Lots of people are buying those these days, so it does make them quite easy to sell. This one here was the West German vase, which I thought sold quite cheap. When this came into the auction on Monday, I was actually on the door when this came in. I thought, that's nice, we'll get that up near the beginning. It was originally going to be lot number 1, but didn't make as much money as they normally do. So ultimately, someone walked away with a bargain on that one. Then we moved on to the gramophone. That made a few quid as well. The trunk was cheap, and then these sort of things were cheap as well. Thing was, this was kind of setting the trend for the day, that we was going to be up, down all the time. Now, the thing was, there was certainly more ups and downs. That's what, excuse me, I've just eaten my dinner before I've come in here. The mouth's still watering. Unbelievable. I should be more ready for these. Anyway, here we go. So, we went through the boxes. The boxes were interesting boxes. Now, for instance, here's an example. So this here, this sort of metal pots and that. is it Le Creuset or whatever it's called? These normally make really good money, and these were relatively cheap. So the people that were in for the room to try and make money this week, there was lots of opportunities, lots of really good boxes of assorted stuff, you know, like this, where you could be splitting the stuff down and making good money on it. Not everybody's there, of course, to make money. People are there to save money. People are there just to look for bargains. Collectors come into the auction room, all sorts of different people, which is why we always say to all of you guys, get yourselves down to the auction room. Even if you've never been before, come and see us. You never know what you're going to find in there. These were quite old pieces, and again, quite nice quality. A little bit rugged around the edges, and then we got onto the die-cast cars. Again, Borrego and Maisto, stuff like that. Nice quality. But loads of them were made, absolutely loads of them. So when you look at this sort of thing, yeah, initially it looks really good, but you see so many of them. And the thing is, most people kept them in the boxes and looked after them. So it's not like the ones that are boxed are going to make more money, because there's a lot of them out there. As we came down here, probably a little bit disappointed myself with that one. I thought that was for 30, 40 quid, that one. I think it did 20. Again, very nice old piece. And again, well worth well worth the money it was paid for. Someone, if they are not a collector and they're actually going to sell it, they should make money on that. Football programs did as football programs do. Not much money anymore. Not so many people are so bothered about collecting them. Might buy them when they go to the game, but not loads of money in them, I'm afraid. Dr. Martens, DMs, will be a bit of a punk rocker or whatever, then they did okay, £25, I believe. And then we started selling some of these at that Land Rover pack there. And then the dog mask as well. Can't imagine how many people tried that on Friday. There was certainly lots of them. More boxes of football programmes, the Chelsea programmes and so on. Again, not much money around for them. There never is. It's football programs are a hard sell these days. This one here, the symbols and the things there, they're okay. Quite nice pieces, those. And they did okay in money as well. Those, I think there was a bag of them as well. Was that the bag there with the symbols? And yeah, so these bits were selling for a few quid, if I'm totally honest. Also down here there was all sorts of other bits and bobs, and we got onto these. Now, I've had these in once before from the same vendor as well. These are the I think they call them like neck coolers. So basically you put them around your head and they blow cold air up onto your neck, and that for the summer. I think they made about £30 a box, something like that. 3 boxes of those. Again, if you're reselling them, selling them singularly, there's money to be made in those as well. A few hands in the air for the old doctor's bag or doctor's style bag there. Even though it was a little bit raggy around the edges, people still wanted to buy that one. The thing that I've got to say was a little bit disappointing was the fossils and things. All the fossils, the various stones and things. Again, there was not many hands for these at all, and I thought there would have been, but maybe that craze has died off. I mean, it was a bit of a craze for ages, and people were paying lots of money for these things. All of a sudden, not so much money around for those. Things like the hard drives were cheap. They was there to make money on. Also, things like the boxes of cosmetics and the boxes of candles and stuff. Again, there, if you are a buyer, a reseller, there was money to be made on those. And this one here, this was a strange one, because this was the big chest that had all the rest of the rocks in. We're left together as one lot. And I think we actually got less for that with the rocks in as we would have done if we'd have sold the chest on its own. So again, people are looking at things and thinking, well, there's a bit of a problem there. There's all these rocks in there, I don't want them. Of course, you could have just took them out and chucked them away, and you could have got yourself a cheap chest or whatever, maybe sold them separately online. You've got to start thinking just a little bit differently if you're going to make the way in buying and selling. This one here, two people went head to head on this one. The little winky tricycle, probably from the 60s, that one, with the back box on, and somebody started jumping the bid as I was doing the bidding. Somebody started jumping the bid, in tens and £20, and it made £100 in the end. Again, that's gone off to its new home. These here, there was quite a few lots of these, so I went down that one, and then I think we changed colours with them. Yeah, basically they're like a baby bowl, baby bottle holder, and all sorts of stuff, all brand new in the pack. So again, some of them made 30 odd quid, some of them made as low as like 15, 16 quid. I think it was a bit strange. It was probably all about the colour, but ultimately with those, there was lots in a box, so there's good sell-on value there. This one here, this was cheap at £4, I believe. Look at that, that's a proper Del Boy coat, that, ain't it? As we come here, I thought that was a shame that didn't sell. The monkey picture there, big canvas at £4 and didn't sell. Crazy. Unless, of course, somebody picked it up today. More football magazines, various boxes of toys and things. Diecast was all selling cheap this week, I thought. It's like people were saving the money for the better items this week and really knew what they wanted. Onto the cupboards and things. Royal Copenhagen pieces like this. We had a telephone bidder for the coal salt dish there, or the candle holder. Again, nice old pieces. When it comes to the pottery, there wasn't that much money for it. Well, why? Because it wasn't that great. That's as simple as it gets. I mean, the problem we have as an auction room is everybody does believe that their items are worth a fortune, and it's not always the case. Just because something is old doesn't make it valuable. These were relatively cheap. Not that one there. This one here was a nice old piece, brass lion, that one. Again, cheap money, I thought. The Pansion made a few quid. The Pansion there, the big mixing bowl. And as you come down here, the cameras were cheap, binoculars were cheap. Most of these were £4. £4. The white metal, that made 20 odd quid, that one, I believe. And then I think just back there, we've missed one actually. Where was it? On that shelf, there was that camera that did 120, 130 quid. But by all accounts, that was a very good camera. So however many people looked at it, I'm not sure. But I'm being told somebody got a bargain there. So anyway, as we come down here, we got onto the trays of brooches, 20, 30 quid for those. Again, reasonable money for a tray of brooches like that, but there are one or two nice ones on there as well. And as we come down this way, we started getting onto sort of the jewellery boxes, the purses, things like that. There's various bags of costume jewellery. Again, one or two bids for them, nothing major. We then got on to the jewellery cabinet, and then that's when things started changing. Now, lots of people were bidding on lots of different things, from silver watch chains like this that were making, I believe, 90 odd quid, that one, to mustard pots and various things. People were basically buying these for the silver content. Well, why? Because sterling silver on Friday went over £1 a gram. £1 a gram for sterling silver is a lot of money, considering what it's been for for several years. So it just seems to keep rising. We'll see what happens tomorrow when the market's open again, but it just seems to keep going up. So maybe you should jump on, maybe you shouldn't. It's your choice on that one. I certainly think it will go up more, but that is only my opinion. Bags of pen knives, more silver bits, silver bangles, silver bracelets, silver brushes like that. Again, all this is silver. Just don't get caught out with these. So just so you know. So when you look at a silver brush like that, there's another one underneath there. You can see they're stuck into each other. This piece here is all silver, but probably most likely underneath it is like a substance. Some various ones have got different things in, but they've got these substances inside them. So don't ever think, oh, that's really heavy, because it isn't all silver. Okay, the best way to check them is to press the silver like that on the top. Sometimes it'll just go and you can feel that the silver's quite thin. Some of the really good quality ones, really hard to press the silver. Little tip there, because the harder it is to press, probably more silver. So little tip there, just to look out for. As we came onto the jewellery cabinet, various pocket watches, silver pocket watches. Silver pocket watches are not making much money at the moment. 15 odd quid for these, and I think there's about 25, 30 quid for silver in them, so maybe more. So be careful, think about this. Jewellery, little earrings, little very lightweight gold earrings weren't making much money, probably around the scrap price. And then we came to that little ring there. I don't mind admitting I was the winning bidder on this one. I loved it from the minute it came through the door. The hallmark had worn away. I'm pretty sure it was 18 carat platinum set, like I said in the auction yesterday, with a tiny diamond and a tiny sapphire there. But it's just a sweet thing, and I liked it. So I bought that one, and maybe I'll sell that one again in the near future. Who knows? Anyway, as we come down onto here, we came onto silver bits, silver bracelets, a lot of oriental looking stuff. And again, some of this was cheap. It wasn't super expensive, this stuff. So even whether you're a reseller or an investor, there was money to be made on this stuff. As we came down here, lots of costume jewellery, bits and bobs like this, all of this stuff was okay, but nothing amazing really. As we come on to the silver stuff, some of the older silver rings. Now, older silver rings do sell okay because they've got a nice look to them and they're going to be relatively cheap. You put that against a gold ring, then it's going to cost a lot more money. So the silver ones are some of the things that people are getting into right now. As we came past those, we did some few dealers boxes, a few boxes of coins and so on, and then we got onto another tray of silver. And we had silver bangles, like old ones like that, and silver rings. Again, few quid for these because they are nice. And people, we have got buyers in this room for lightweight silver items of jewellery. So again, don't always be tempted to scrap this stuff in, because this stuff here can be where the money's at. You can get well over scrap for it. As we moved on to the bags, well, I think somewhere on here we had a 20 odd gram bag of 9 carat gold scrap. I think that did 500 and something pounds because the gold price is so high. And then we got onto all of the gold items, where it was various rings. That one did quite well above scrap, that one. And the garnets, anything that was a bit showy and had a bit of a look to it, was making money. Even the cameo rings were selling okay. The gold onyx ring there, again, bids for that one like there are for the silver onyx rings. So again, don't be tempted necessarily to go to these places on the TV where they're saying send you gold. Consider the auction, because some of this stuff can do extremely well, and we see that with quite a few items in the sale yesterday. So try and avoid the high street as well, or at least this. Ask them on the high street, what is the scrap price today in London, and how much are you paying? They won't like that question, trust me. They will not like that question one little bit, because they don't want people to know how much money they're making. Anyway, more gold chains, gold bracelets. That one was 20 odd grams. That one, I think that did over 500 pounds as well. So whatever it was, again, all of the jewellery was selling well. We then got onto the back wall and started selling the stuff, and then this is where the fun started. Lots of bids for these old shoes. Were all World War II soldier shoes and so on. So these were making like up to about 30 odd pounds a pair. I think one made as much as 34. The thing about these, they were so heavy, such heavy boots, maybe to protect your feet out in the field back in the day. However, wouldn't have been nice wearing those. Started off with a little bit of a run for these for the football programmes, the folders of football programmes, of which there was loads of them. If you remember, if you look here, there was all these, look, absolutely loads of them. Some of them was making like 10, 12 quid, some were making 9 quid, some were making 4 quid. Great news is, I think they all sold. So they're all going off to new homes. A lot of them were non-league, maybe a little bit harder to sell. But again, back to the football programme thing, they're not selling for loads of money anymore. The bulk of the collectors have got what they ever wanted since the internet came out. So there you go. That's that. As we come down here, dartboards. We had not solds on the dartboards this week, unless of course Lisa sold them afterwards. Still money for these things. Old VCRs. VCRs are selling. People are buying those up now. That was cheap, that one. £4 for that one there. 4 quid. Somebody got a bargain with that one. The old Bakelite radio. And then we moved on to piles of records, piles of newspapers, all sold, all cheap, okay? All cheap this week. We sold the Furbies there. They went, there was a little bit more modern one. Those ones not quite worth as much as the older ones, but still saleable. We had the lamps that were selling okay. Carlton ware was a little bit disappointing to me. Some of the Carlton ware that we had didn't make as much as I thought it could have done. This old Carlton ware, especially this stuff with the leaves, and then you move on to the salad bowls and things, should be worth a few quid, but pardon me, is it another one of those where it's something of yesteryear? These ones here, look, there you go, there's the old sort of salad plates and things that you got in the old Carlton, where you had apples and cucumber dishes and all sorts of stuff. But maybe we just the times are changing so much all the time that maybe people aren't buying those so much. Lisa kind of took over here and sold a lot of this stuff while I was trying to sort problems that we'd had in and around the auction room during the day. Boxes of CDs, boxes of cars and things. From what I could see, it was all making reasonable money. That was one of my highlights, that one. I don't actually know what it ended up making. The Muffin the Mule toy television set there looked to be complete. I'm not 100% sure, but again, I think we certainly had bids quite high on the book. I don't know what it ended at. As we came down here, more of the old toys, various wind-up toys and things like that. That man there, I don't know what that one made in the end, but again, popular bits. As we came down the middle of the room, I have no idea what Lisa did on that. We got to the boats though, and I know this one here, this one made £250. I thought that was very cheap for that. We did have a £450 reserve, and we told the vendor there wasn't a huge amount of interest, and they dropped it to £250. So ultimately, of course, the resident boat buyer bought that. Would you be surprised about that? And he bought that one, and I think he bought that one as well. So there you go. The resident boat buyer went home happy, which is good. And as we come down here, there was more items, small items of furniture. Lisa was selling the organs and things like that. She got onto the back table, and there were some interesting bits on the back table, and it was making fair money, to be honest, because, you know, little coffee grinders, Pelham puppets, postal scales, bits of pottery. And we had some Royal Crown Derby on there somewhere, I think. There it is there. Bit of Royal Crown Derby on the back table as well in the box. I think that made probably about 40 odd quid as well. As we came down here, another German vase, West German vase, colourful one. Again, don't know the price on that, but I'm sure that one would have done a bit better because it is a nice piece. As we then came into the back room, I kind of took over for a bit, I think, at this point, and was selling some of the pictures. Some of the pictures were selling okay, but the thing is, pictures, silks, art, stuff like that, it's just not on fire anymore. It really isn't. Chelsea stuff was a bit of a struggle as well, and then we started getting onto some of the mixed boxes and things, and again, there was all selling pretty much, but they weren't making loads of money. So that's your time to strike. That's your time as a buyer and a seller to jump in, be in the room and pick up those cheap lots so you can go away and make some money on them. I'd love to know how much the Rupert books did, because Lisa decided to take over again and give me another bit of a break. And she went through this room and she hammered through this room. Lisa was an absolute star because we managed to get ourselves behind because of the problems we'd had. And she managed to get us well in front again. I'm pretty sure she will have sold all the bags of teddies again, as she always does. And then she went into the tool room. So once again, I've really no idea what this lot made, so I can't talk about that. All I know is that I took over at the front table. Lisa did a grand job of getting us through this very quickly and having a laugh with people as well, which is what we do, and try and make the auction room as much fun as possible. So this one here, these were the key rings, the football key rings, and I think this first one made over £70. So I don't know what was so exciting about that one, because the other ones made sort of 20, 30 quid, something like that. But again, all selling, which is good. Remember, selling is the best form of recycling. As you come down here, we got onto all the stamp albums, which I thought were relatively cheap this week. We did have a telephone bidder for one of them, and you know, look, there's no getting around it. Stamps are good if they're good. If they're bad and they're just average, they're not going to make much money. If they are sort of very collectible ones and older ones, particularly Victorian, they are going to make more money. As we came down here, we had a bit of a bidding war on for one or two of the tin plate toys, and they was making 65 and 70 odd quid, some of these, up to the, was it the motorbike did that one make about 120, something like that? Certainly one of them did, and or was it the boss? I can't remember. But the old clockwork toys, I mean, look at that old clockwork fish. Look at that. How cool is that? You know, so all these nice things that they've you know, sort of stood the test of time and still are around. Boxes of records, again, not fortunes, but again, that's all going to depend on what's in them. We went through all the various records on the front table, small piles of records, and they were basically really two bidders for those. Two bidders that were sort of fought it out between them, as well as a couple of bids on the book. Sadly, these didn't sell. The Jag plate, the Jag there, and the Evo plate, they had £300 reserves on them, so if you are still interested in those, give us a shout. We'll be able to sort that for you. We got onto the appliances. Again, not loads of money around for the appliances. That was the bargain of the day. That, even though it's in it needs a bit of repair, and that, still a nice old clock, that one. I think it made about 12 quid. Anyway, the linen press there, the old linen cupboard, again, nice piece, not the nicest piece, however, I think it's about 130 quid, that one, 130, 140, something like that. As we came down here, china cabinets, various chairs, various bits and bobs like this, the barley twist table there, the little tea trolley, whatever it is. And down here, things like this were struggling, like this sort of teak bits that surprised me. I thought somebody would have been picking those off, but there wasn't this week. That I thought was a bargain. That was quite cheap. I think that was like 20 something pounds, and a beautiful piece of wood. That lovely thing indeed. I think it was Chris that bought it, I believe, and I think he'll do quite well on it. Telephone bidder for the mobility scooter without the key, which made £95, and that is about your lot. That is what the auction was this week. We enjoyed it. It was a good day in the end. We managed to get finished a little bit earlier than we thought it was going to, so we managed to all get out the door at just gone 6 o'clock, which was nice for a change, especially when you've had a day like that. So let me just tell you what's happened today. So, last night we managed to put the special sale online. I'll be doing a bit of a sneak peek for that one, some sort of video maybe after this one, to be fair. So we've got that one. If you want to easyliveauction.com now and search for Prestige Auctions, you'll find that the specialist sale for the 23rd of October is now on the internet on there, so you can start bidding on that one straight away, or get signed up or whatever you want to do. Or of course you can come and bid live in the room on the day. Also, we've got a good auction for you this week. Good mixed boxes in there. Load of jewellery in again this week. Got a bit lucky with stuff like that recently, and lots of people are bringing it to us. So if you do enjoy the content that we put out, it does help us loads if you'd leave comments. Comments really does help the algorithm, and it helps us get more people interested in watching what we do down here at Prestige Auctions. We are a community auction room that is based around our customers. We do like to do everything to keep everybody happy. Of course, that never always works out. Listen, everybody, thanks ever so much for watching. Give it a thumbs up if you've enjoyed it. Hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you all very soon at the auction.